about money, and how can I change that? How can I change my mindset when it comes to money to be more abundant? Like, money's obsessed with me, money loves me. And then I coupled that with The Secret, right? And manifestation and saying that shit out loud, and it just blew up. Hello, beautifuls. My name is Giselle, co-host of the Strong Sunflowers podcast and founder of GS for Growth. And I'm starting the series as we continue 5 tips to becoming a strong ass sunflower. And this is tip number 2, which is set boundaries and saying no. And right now I'm in my season of no. So if that's something that you're interested in learning and starting in your own life, make sure you subscribe, like this video, share it to your friends. And here we talk all about self-growth, personal development, traveling, and self-love and self-care. So if that's something that you're into, join the field. But let's dive right in. So tip number 2 is setting boundaries and saying no. Oh my gosh. I know a lot of us have a hard time doing this. And I wanted to focus this video specifically on saying no to ourselves. Like, delayed gratification is hard, baby. It's hard. And a lot of Americans don't know what delayed gratification is, and that's why they're living paycheck to paycheck. But that is like a whole other bar that we're gonna get to. I feel like the last couple of years have been yes season. I've been in a yes season. Your girl has been getting everything and more that she has ever asked for, dreamed of, you name it. Let's take it back. From February, being in Carnival, Rio de Janeiro, go check out those videos if you ever wanna go, baby, I give you all the tea. But that's a bucket list item, going to Carnival in Rio de Janeiro. I was amazing. Before that, I went to celebrate my 28th birthday. I decided that I wanted to do a whole 3-week thing. I went to Miami for the weekend, had an amazing time with my friends. I went to Cuba, surprised my dad, like celebrated my birthday with family. And then I wanted to do a solo trip and I took my ass to Egypt. I got to see the pyramids. I got to go to Hurghada. I got to go scuba diving for the first time. I got to see some friends that I had met the year prior in Alexandria. It was amazing. Prior to that, I had my spring trip that I got to go to Dubai. Who am I? I got to go to Dubai. I got to experience such amazing hospitality. Oh my gosh, Dubai is the scene of luxury. Everything is luxury. Everything sparkles in Dubai. I felt so loved. I felt so like recognized in the sense of like men were just being a man and a provider, and like it was just amazing. I got to go to Abu Dhabi. I got to go to the Maldives. Like, these are trips that like younger Giselle would have never, like, baby, but the universe is like, it's a yes. It's like, yeah, baby, you're in your yes season. And I got to swim with manta rays. I got to swim with sharks. I got to swim with like all of the things. Oh my gosh, I got to go island hopping. The Maldives, 10 out of 10, baby. 10 out of 10 recommend. And it's not as expensive as you think. I have a video on it. It was like, I spent for 5 days less than $1,000 for all my excursions, all the crazy shit that I did. 10 out of 10, baby. 10 out of 10 recommend. After that, I went to Lebanon. My friend was like, hey, cancel your flight. Let's go to Lebanon. And I was like, you know what? I'm already on this side of the world. Might as well cancel that flight, baby. You only live once. That's a motto, nigga. YOLO. YOLO. So I canceled my flight. Next thing you know, I'm in Lebanon. I freaking love Lebanese food. I love Lebanese people in general. I love Lebanon. If you ever get the chance to go, it's an amazing country. It's just, the vibes were impeccable. Impeccable. I had the time of my life. Yes season. Prior to that, December of 2022, I was in Hawaii. Hawaii has always been like a, oh my gosh, I'm going to Hawaii. Hawaii has always been such an epitome of like, you made it. Like, oh yeah, we're going to Hawaii. Oahu, Honolulu. Your girl was there. I was swimming with the freaking dolphins. I was swimming with the sharks. I swim with Galapagos sharks. I can't wait to go back and swim with the tiger sharks because that's on my bucket list. It was incredible. And then prior to that, I know it keeps getting better, right? So my 27th birthday, I spent it in Europe. First time going to Europe, baby. We go to Spain. I go all throughout Spain. I go to Barcelona. I go to Sevilla. I go to Madrid. I go to Ibiza. Who is she? Your girl's in Ibiza. Talk about a yes season. I'm in Ibiza. Then we go to Italy. I go to Capri. I go to Amalfi Coast. I'm a freaking Positano. Sorrento, baby, you name it. I went to Pompei. It was crazy. And I remember when all these things were happening, I was just in so much shock because a lot of the people, you see the big blue moment, right? You see all the trips and all the things. For the last 2 years, I've been it's been a yes, and book that flight and a yes. And every year has been getting bigger and bigger. And I'm like, I don't even know how we can top this off. But prior to that, let's take it back to 2020, where I had just gotten separated from my husband at the time, and I didn't even make enough money to survive on my own. I had a car, I had $15,000 in credit card debt. I was like in this hamster wheel that I was talking about before, like a lot of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. I was so unhappy and I literally had to break everything down. I had to fucking throw the whole thing away. I'm like, okay, we gotta start from scratch. There were so many things that were going wrong, and I just did a video on this about the number one tip for becoming a strong ass sunflower, which is self-love and self-care, and like going there and working on that. And that really catapulted me into growth mindset and personal development and reading more and taking action, which is the most important part, right? You can read, talk, but if you don't take the action, it's not gonna benefit your life. So I remember I was like, dude, I'm so fucking unhappy. I can't even afford to live. Like, I'm in this hamster wheel of like work, and I don't get anywhere. I would work and then be so stressed and then book a vacation and then leave. And then I was just, again, in that hamster wheel. I was so pissed because I'm like, dude, how the fuck do I get out of here? I don't want to be here. But I had to work on my delayed gratification. And to work on that delayed gratification, I really had to work on my self-discipline. And that's another thing. I feel like in my season back then in 2020 of No, I started reading Dave Ramsey. Total Money Makeover, the book, I got it. And then I started following him on Instagram. And then I found his 7 baby steps. If you're trying to get out of debt, which again, that was my first ever video here on YouTube, how I paid $15,000 of credit card debt. And he was a game changer for me. He gave me the little baby steps. He gave me the blueprint. And I was like reading books like How to Have a Millionaire's Mindset. And okay, this is my blueprint. And this is what I think about money. And how can I change that? How can I change my mindset when it comes to money to be more abundant? Like money's obsessed with me. Money loves me. And then I coupled that with The Secret, right? And manifestation and saying that shit out loud. And it just blew up, into this amazing thing that I have now. But it really started there. And then I really had to look at my finances and delay the gratification for a while because I was grinding. And I didn't make, until that time, 2020 was the year that I made the most money in my years of working thus far. Because I put foot to the pedal, baby. I was accelerator. And we're in the middle of a pandemic, but I was like, okay, the way to have more money is to make more and spend less. Those are the 2 fucking questions that I asked myself. Where can I cut expenses and how can I make more money? And I remember I'm still working in the service industry, but at the time we're in the middle of COVID. The restaurant was closed for like 2 to 3 months. I was like, okay, Giselle, how you're gonna make money and how are you gonna cut your expenses? I was living with my mom at the time. At the time, I could only afford $400 of rent, but I knew that I needed to make more money because I didn't want to touch my savings. So I was like, okay, how am I gonna make more money? While the restaurant was closed, I started working at Walmart. Baby, I was one of the little personal shoppers. I was doing, I think, like 10 miles a day. Like, baby, it was a lot. I was doing the personal shopping. I also reached out to like the local communities at church. There was this guy, he was a lawyer. He had 4 kids. The kids weren't going to school because of the pandemic. His wife was like, I'm a stay-at-home wife, but this is a lot. So can you help? I'm like, say less. They would pay me like $16 an hour to help their kids with reading and English and doing their little projects and go grocery shopping for them. Say less, because baby, Walmart was paying me like $12 minus tax, so like 10. I was pissed, baby. Minimum wage is not for me. Minimum wage, I could never go back to minimum wage, because baby, hourly, matter of fact, hourly, trash. If you're working hourly, what are you doing? You're trying to get more money for your time. That's why I love serving, because there's days that I can make $600. And yes, I worked all day, but damn, that's still $600. I'll fucking take it. Thank you so much. And in that time period, something happened with my mom. You can get the tea in another video that I posted. And then I had to move out. I was homeless for 2 weeks, but I was still grinding. I also worked at the hospital because I was a scribe back then. I was still pursuing my pre-medical route. I had gotten my bachelor's in biology. I was working at the hospital in the morning. I was working at Walmart, and I was babysitting and just teaching, doing whatever. I'm like, I have a bachelor's in biology. I'll be your teacher. So I was trying to get this money wherever I could. And I ended up paying my car off. I paid off my credit cards. I ended up saving almost $40, F-O-R-T-Y, $40,000. And baby, your girl had fucking worked for that. I worked my ass off for that. I delayed gratification to the fucking max. I would, again, try to make more, spend less. I would have a grocery list of like the things that I could buy at the store and what are the cheapest meals that I could make that would get me nutrition in my body without breaking the bank. And that was a lot of rice, freaking beans and eggs. Rice, beans, and eggs. Maybe a little salad here and there because, girl, greens are expensive. But that was my diet. No eating out, no fucking around. And another thing that I did, which is in my first video that I ever posted on here on YouTube, was I would pretend to still eat out, and that money I would use it to pay my credit card. So I'll be like, normal Giselle would go out to Chick-fil-A right now and then have dinner here. That's $25. Use it to pay your credit card. And I would like spend it immediately to the credit card, baby, to the credit card. And having that discipline, and I did that for like a year and a half, having that discipline to do that for a year and a half, I think it became a game for me in the sense like I love to see the number go down. Like, oh, I only owe $13,700. Oh, I bet by this end of this week I can owe $13,400. You know, like how much money can I save? Where? Oh, I don't really need to eat today. Don't get that far, but you know what I mean? It becomes like this game. You're like, I can really do it. And you really see the numbers going down. And then to get to the point that like I finished paying my car and I was like, it was like my big bloom moment of like all the hard labor that I did. And then after that, not having a car payment is a game changer, by the way, and saving all that money. And also in the meantime, I'm working on my mindset, right? I'm working on like making sure that I'm thinking in abundance. I'm manifesting. So I think I was making like what, $300 a week. And I was like, okay, if I make $300 a week, how can I make $400 a week? Manifest that. I make $400 a week. And then I was like, how can I make $500 a week? And if we can make $500 a week, why the fuck can we make $1,000 a week? And then I was like, if we can make $1,000 a week, I bet you we can make $2,000 a week. And I was like, yes, let's do it. And there were days that there were months that I was making like $8,000 and spending less than $1,000. So $7,000 to the bank, saving. And then the more that I learned about like where to put my money at, I was putting it at a high yield savings account, and that was making money too off that. I'm still not in the whole investing. I mean, I have little bits in here. I dip my toes in, I'm working on it. But you know, like that progression and seeing those results, and then having the benefit of the fruits of my labors for years to come. In my case, it was about 2 years. Now I'm back to like the plateau point, and I'm like, okay, now I'm in my season of no again, because now we have new goals. And one of the things I wanted to start off with, like all the things that I've been doing at the beginning, because I feel like since it started, right, my season of yes, the years have been getting bigger and bigger. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, Hawaii, and then Dubai, then Egypt. You're taking 2 months off of work. You're taking 3 months off of work. Like you're going to Brazil. You're traveling 5, 6, 10, 12 times in a year. Girl, I've been living my very best life. Okay? I worked hard, but I party even harder. Like these are life experiences that I'll never, like, oh my gosh, I regret nothing. I went skydiving in the Palms. Like 10 out of 10 recommend. And because every year has been getting bigger, I remember I was like, okay, 2024, what do you have in store for me? God, this better be good, because how are we gonna top last year? Because last year was the motherfucking shit. Like, Lord, how are we going to top that? And the Lord has funny ways of pulling up. Because last year, mind you, I'm still in the process of creating everything together. I'm in the process of creating an app. I have fully dived into the whole entrepreneurship route, and I'm creating an app, and it's called the Create app. And I'm not even telling you yet what it's about, but when it's ready, trust and believe, YouTube, you're the first ones to know. But I had this idea for this app last year, and it kept being in my mind and it was like, pestering me about it. And it was God, because last year I remember I was in the Maldives and I was having like deep conversations and just with myself, because I traveled by myself, and God was literally telling me like, hey, I have something huge for you. I have something big. You have to get prepared for it. You have to be ready for it. And I'm like, oh, okay, here goes nothing, we getting ready. And then it gets to 2024 and I have these super high expectations of like, oh my gosh, what does God have in store for me? And I don't get the idea till like December of 2023. And I'm like, damn, God, his big idea is gonna take me into a whole other season of a whole other season of discipline, a whole other season of growth. Like, I'm learning so much about entrepreneurship and business, and it's like the Lord is stretching me in so many other ways and avenues of life. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I knew that I needed to act. I knew that I had to do it. So I just spent $6,000 in the beginning phases of creating this app, and then I have to pay another $6,000. But oh my gosh, I'm working my ass off. I think 2 weeks ago I worked 90-hour weeks, and I was still doing YouTube, and I was still doing the podcast and interviewing all these things. I think when you have a passion and a purpose and something that you love, you have to please take the time to do it. I know that it's tired. I know you're fucking tired. I know life is hard. I know it fucking sucks. I know it's hard to go work, but you know what's also hard? Spending your life just working for someone else and not pouring into yourself. You keep pouring and pouring and pouring to these organizations, to these corporations, but you don't take the time to pour into yourself. And I'm not saying that you have to start a business, but whether it's a hobby that you like, or traveling, or eating out, or spending time with your family, whatever it is, creating a YouTube channel, creating a podcast, make sure that you're taking the time to do that. Make sure that you're taking the time to pour into yourself. Trust me, because the way that I'm viewing life right now, I'm just thinking of like, oh my gosh, these are the days that when I make it big, I'm gonna remember of. I'm just trying to be as present as possible in the journey, in this stemming process of like getting there, because I truly believe this is a multi-million, billion-dollar idea. And I'm just so thankful that the Lord has given it to me. And one of the things that I heard too, it's like, if you don't act on this, I'm gonna give it to someone else. And when the Lord tells you that, baby, you gotta act, you gotta move, you gotta do it. And I'm doing it. And I'm just so happy. And I just can't, I'm naturally a happy person, but even in this journey, I'm like even more excited because I can see the Lord has shown me the end result. So it's like, nothing can ruin my day. Nothing. I'm working 90 hours a week with a smile on my face. I am showing up, because being in the restaurant business and just like people can be people, and showing up with a smile, and I'm just like, it feels so good to know that I don't have to be here forever. And I feel like the last couple of years has been hard because I was so stuck in like, oh, I'm gonna be a doctor, this is the only thing that I can do, that it was so frustrating when I wasn't doing that thing, and when I wasn't motivated to study and get ahead in that lane. And it was just like always been like a block of like, oh, I can't do it. And it would just make me so angry, because I'm like, I know I'm meant for more. I know I'm meant for more than just freaking serving tables and kissing people's ass, which I don't do because I ain't got time for that. If you have any problem, I'm gonna bring my manager so you can complain to him, because baby, they don't pay me enough for that. But it was just like happening more often of me just getting just like a freaking volcano exploding of anger of like, why the fuck are we not where we need to be? And with this, I feel like, you know, in like Moana, when the volcano explodes and then I'm finally like all green. That's how I feel right now. I feel like I'm in the right path. I feel like I'm going towards where I'm supposed to be. And I'm just so excited for that. And that greater thing that God has in store for me is requiring that season of no. It's requiring that season of saving as much money as I can so I don't go into too much debt creating this project, saving every penny that I can, not eating out, going back to my finances and looking at it and seeing where, like, asking myself those two questions, right? How can I make more money and how can I spend less? So I signed up to drive for Uber. I should be doing that starting next week. I have 2 jobs. I work in an Italian restaurant and I work at a breakfast restaurant. All of these things, I babysit on the side. I hustle whenever I can. I do it, like modeling, whatever it is, baby, I got you. I'm gonna do it to make this extra money to make these dreams come true. So entering another season of no, and I'm prepared. I feel like we get a little used to the good life, okay? But like just making this video and being able to say these things out loud and being able to remember like where I started my season of no. I started my season of no out of necessity because it was either that or fucking drowning. I was dying in debt, you know? So it's like I started it off because the life that I had, I fucking hated it and I needed to change something. And right now I'm starting my season of no with so much knowledge. And I don't hate my life. I actually fucking love my life. Like, even comparing of like starting my season of no, living in someone else's house, my mom paying $400 of rent for a room, not having my own space in my home, not being able to afford to live, to I have my own space. I have my own apartment, which I have with my roommate, and I have my own car. I have a 2021 Camry and it's leather and it's nice. And I have these things. I make enough money to live. So it's not out of scarcity, it's out of abundance. And I know that we're gonna create fucking greatness with your help because yeah, we're gonna create together. And yes, I'm just so excited. I know seasons of no, you think I'm like, oh, seasons of no, you don't get to do much stuff. I'm still gonna get to do stuff, but I'm definitely gonna be picking and choosing like what I say yes to. But I'm just super excited to embark on this new season of no. And I know that when we hear that, it's like something like, oh, saying no, but I'm actually really excited to dig back into my discipline because this next chapter that God's trying to put me in, it's a big one. And I'm gonna need all the discipline that I can get. So I love you guys. I hope if you're entering your season of no, you can see it from another perspective. I promise you the end goal, the end result is totally worth it. You deserve all the blessings that Allah wants to give you. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Ciao.